This show is rated M for mature, so parents, put your kids to bed.
Welcome to the hangout. Let's gather around those non-filtered discussions, tackling the topic, shedding light on all sides. Everyone has a story. Getting trends, ideas, and deciphering the political chaos society shaping. So many ways, but we're on the side of the honest truth, exploring perspectives. Time to take off the blinders. The hangout, come join the conversation.
Tonight we have a creator with a strong presence on Twitch and a following that spans across multiple platforms. She's just not a gamer. She is a creator who uses her platform to connect, entertain, and inspire. Whether she is sharing a late-night Call of Duty takedown to spreading the word in her charity streams, her journey is one of passion, community, and the relentless pursuit of her dreams. Along with being a mother and a wife, she still makes time to keep her community entertained. Bonus as we find out how she balances life and content creation, along with getting to know what keeps her motivated. Ladies and gentlemen, Forever Esoteric. Now that we got all the technical bugs out, it's going to be a perfect stream the rest of the way.
It should be. I'm crossing my fingers.
Welcome, everybody. This here is the Hangout. If y'all don't know me before, I've done a bunch of podcasts through different names and rebranding and everything else. So I finally come up with one that I'm just going to combine all into. And welcome to the Hangout. So I am Rebel. And tonight we have a very special guest, Forever Esoteric.
Yes.
Trust me,
Hello.
I practiced that name because I always mess things up.
It is a hard one to say.
But no, it's a very interesting name. A very interesting name. But let's get started off. Who are you and what do you do?
I am Forever Esoteric. A lot of people will call me Forever or Eso for short. I do go by the pseudonym. I keep mostly everything IRL private just to protect family and things. But I'm a variety streamer. I do just about everything. I multi-stream. So you'll see me on Twitch, Kick, live.space, Facebook, YouTube. I might try Twitter. I don't know. But I'll do game. I mostly do gaming. I like to play COD. I play Apex. We do horror games, community games. I've done swimming streams, hot tub streams, game night streams with friends that I know. I've kind of done a little bit of everything.
So you put the variety in variety streaming.
Pretty much, yeah. Like I don't really know if I would classify as one of anything. So I'm just jack of all trades. Sure, hey. It'll work.
Hey, that makes it. I love variety streamers. I'm not gonna lie, because I like seeing the different content, the different things they come up with, and the different ideas they come up with for their streams. Me myself, I was just a COD streamer. That's all I was when I did stream. Until I started doing podcasts. So
yeah, it's easier for people to classify as something and have their niche for what they do, because I will say, just being a variety streamer and knowing my community, some people don't prefer some things and some people prefer all of it. It's easier to build a community around something if you stay doing one thing. It makes it a little less complicated, and then you don't have people who are bummed out because they don't like scary stuff or COD.
Exactly.
So
yeah, COD's one of those things. It's got to be. I mean, I know it's like the most popular one between that and Apex, streamed on any platform, but Apex is the best. Worst thing, yeah.
Yes. Everybody's got mixed feelings just about everything.
Yeah. Me personally, I mean, I play Apex, but it's kind of funny because I went from controller to mouse and keyboard on COD, and I'm pretty good at that. And then when I go to Apex, I've got to use my controller. I can't use mouse and keyboard on Apex. It's weird.
That's really interesting. A friend of mine, Kira, she showed me there's a website that you can convert your settings from game to game if you put in like your DPI and things like that.
Oh, really?
So you could maybe try that.
Huh?
See how it works.
I might, because yeah, like I said, yeah, for some reason, I mean, my controller works just fine. I don't know. I guess just with Apex, I guess because of the mechanics of the game. I don't know.
Oh yeah, maybe. I don't know. I cannot play on controller anymore.
Oh,
Like,
really?
yeah, I've just, uh, obviously growing up, I was on a controller because that's all that we really had. And then I didn't play games at all for like 10 years. And then I came back to Apex on mouse and keyboard. I was terrible at it. It was so bad. And then now that's the only way that I can play. If I grab a controller, I just kind of look like I've never touched a video game in my life.
Oh, and see, that's why I'm on Apex. You see me play Apex, because I do try on mouse and keyboard, because I do want to, get better, because I know mouse and keyboard is a little bit better, but it's just like, yeah, I don't know. Yeah, you see me being a total noob, and I started playing Apex when it first came out.
Yeah.
So, um, so how long have you been streaming?
So I want to say like 3.5 years. It was like November of 2020, I think.
Oh, okay.
Or I don't remember, but I took like a year and a half off almost when I had my baby, who's almost a year old.
Oh, wow.
So yeah. So when I got pregnant, I had a bunch of like health issues.
Ooh.
And then it just kind of didn't work out because then I had her and then I had surgery and then I just waited.
Oh, wow.
I didn't, yeah, I didn't want to come back and then have to leave again. So,
Yeah. No. Because so I mean, yeah, married and a child and streaming and content creating. I mean, that's just like a job in itself, trying to find time to do anything
yes.
content
And
creating
that's,
wise or streaming wise.
yeah. And with 4 kids, it makes it a little,
Oh,
little
wow.
more difficult.
Oh,
Yeah. And then, uh, my youngest son, he's 6. He got diagnosed with autism last August, I think. So
oh, okay.
it's been interesting trying to maneuver around appointments and football and cheer and
Oh, yeah.
stuff. So
Yeah.
it's been fun.
I know with my step family and stuff like that, that's what we had to do before they all got out of it. It's just like trying to find time to do everything and try to be at every place. It's like, yeah, I was not
Yeah.
built for that.
It's
So
not easy.
so I commend you 100% for doing
Well, thank you.
that.
I do my best. I am notorious for being late or, something ridiculous happening. But I do my best to at least like if I miss anything, I try to make up for it. And I'm trying to change schedules around to see how day streaming goes, but I think I'm just a night owl. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know if I could tell you that's the truth. When I've had time off, day streams never worked for me.
It's also hard to go from like everybody being used to you streaming at night and then they're like, "You're on during the day. What are you doing here?" But
So is that what you're going to keep on the night schedule then, or try to keep on the night schedule?
so what I've kind of determined is I'm going to try the day streaming. It's just hard with the baby. I have to stop and go tend to her and things like that. And for the most part, everybody's really like understanding. So it's okay if I take 5 minutes here or 5 minutes there. But I think I just prefer to stream at night because then everybody's asleep and it's just all my OGs are here, because I've always been a night streamer and I used to be really known for streaming for long periods of time. Like I would do 24-hour streams or 14-hour streams just
Wow.
on a whim, just because I had nothing better to do.
Oh,
So,
wow.
yeah. So when I stream at night, that tends to happen. Like we'll be on until 3 or 4 o'clock in the morning, and it's like, oh, now I have to get up in a couple of hours to hang out with my baby. So we're all kind of working through that together.
Well, that's good.
Yeah.
I mean, your husband and everybody, I mean, they strongly support what you do on the streaming side.
Oh yeah, yeah. A lot of people, I really hate being on social media and stuff and seeing like somebody's significant others irritated or whatever, or like you see all these people getting divorces because they're dedicating their time to doing like trying to make their dreams come true.
Yeah.
And I don't know, it's just really sad because, I'll just the other day I was in the room working on some stuff that I do for like this little side business I have going. And I came out here and my husband's like, hey, I did all this stuff to your settings and now you only have to click this button. I'm like, what are you doing? And he's very supportive. So I don't have any issues with that.
Well, that's
He's
good.
Yeah, he looks forward to making sure that all my technology's like up to date, and he'll be like, "Oh, hey, this camera came out. We should check it out." Or, "Oh, hey, there's a new processor coming out. Can we go? We should check it out." And I'm like, "All right." So he's my IT guy. He built my PC for me because I had dual PCs.
Hmm.
So he put them all into one, and
Oh, wow.
yeah, so he's extremely supportive. He doesn't like to be on social media or on my stream, and you won't ever see him, but he's very, very supportive. So I got very lucky with that.
Yeah, you did. Yeah, because like you said, you see all these that on social media and everybody else that are always, trying to find time to, or getting upset because their significant other doesn't want them to do this or do that. And it's just like, yeah. So, I mean, I feel that way too. My wife has her own side business. She does when I do this, so it kind of like helps things out a lot. So,
Yeah. Well,
but
that's nice that y'all have like hobbies to do. Because I always joke about. Sorry, my dog's being crazy.
you're good.
I always joke about how in relationships, like you have to have your own life too,
Mhm.
and it's just it's good that you have your thing and she's got her thing and y'all just kind of coexist.
Yeah,
It's good. It's healthy.
yeah, yeah, yeah. Because like I said, that's one of the questions I ask most people is just like, how do you balance that? I mean, is it like, is it like I said? I know you have to have time for your family and stuff like that, especially with the tribe you have going. So how do you do
The
that? How
zoo.
do you, yeah, the zoo,
I refer to it as the zoo a
as
lot.
the zoo.
Hmm.
So, I mean, how do you balance that? I mean, is that something, do you ever get a point to where you're just, okay, I just cannot stream or I cannot do this for like 2 or 3 days? And because, I mean, it does get overwhelming.
Yeah. So personally, I tend to hyperfixate on things. So when I sit down to stream, like that's what I'm doing. And like my kids know, like, hey, don't don't mess with mom when she's doing things because she's live. But there are times like if things are going on with my kids or like my husband, which isn't very often, except with my younger son, just because he's got therapy or something that we have to do, then or if he's having a meltdown, then I'm going to stop what I'm doing and I'll either in stream or, I'll let people know like, hey, this is happening. I probably won't stream today, but like I mentioned earlier, I definitely try to make up for it. So if say I miss a couple of days due to whatever, like I've had my kids get sick before or I've been sick myself and I'll plan like a long stream. Like I'll be like, hey, we'll try to do a 24-hour, and then my husband comes in and he's like taking care of the kids. He'll make dinner. He'll
Wow.
do everything that he needs to do just to kind of because he understands like what it takes to make it in streaming. So we try to work together
Oh,
for times like that.
that's awesome. Yeah.
Hmm.
Yeah. Definitely one of those, well, I mean, I guess you would call it like a fairy tale situation in the streaming world.
Yeah,
So
he's my unicorn, right? Or penguin or whatever people want to call
just
it.
add it to the zoo, right?
Pretty much, yeah.
Um, so I was going over your website a little bit, and I love that because I think a lot of content creators and stuff like that that are trying to get exposure and everything else that don't like to post a lot on social media or do certain things. I think the
Hmm.
website is a great thing, and I was going through your website, and it's just like very informative.
Hmm.
One of the things I seen on there is like you used to, do you still, or you said you model? Do you still model, or was that something you did prior to this?
So I have done several like photo shoots just since I was younger. Obviously as a woman, there's, those self-conscious things.
Hmm.
I've met lots of terrible photographers, terrible makeup artists, and there's been lots of uh, times when I was like, I don't think I want to do this. But it is something that I would love to do. I think it would be so fun. It really just depends on who you're working with. Like, for example, in April, I have a shoot scheduled out to help someone with their website, like to model their merchandise.
Oh, wow.
So I'm going to try it again and see how I feel about it. But it just kind of, I don't like when other people take pictures of me, and I don't, if it's not like, if it doesn't feel like me, I'm like, I don't like this, and I just won't do it. I don't know.
Hey, no, it's total.
So
Yeah.
it just depends. If I could find a really good photographer or like a company that understands what angles are and,
That's it.
just kind of
Yeah, I don't know the first
what
thing
it
about
takes.
photography. So, I mean, I know that, yeah, I know what you're talking about. There can be some bad pictures and everything else because,
Yeah.
you do see that a lot, especially if you're like an internet person or you're always watching people posting
Hmm.
video or pictures of certain things. It's like, yeah, you maybe should find a different camera or something.
Yeah. And, we're our own worst critics. So it's
Yeah.
like, if I could take a better picture of myself doing something or for something, then I just, I don't know. I don't, I don't know. I would rather do it myself, if that makes sense.
Well, with technology today, especially with the phones and stuff like that, I mean, if you get the right lighting and everything else, those phones are amazing. Um,
That is true. They
like
make movies off of them now.
I
It's
know.
crazy.
Yeah, I saw a couple of people back when the new iPhone stuff started coming out. Um, that were yeah, they took entire motion pictures and like a 2 hour motion picture, and it was all filmed off their cell phone. I'm like,
Hmm.
a lot
And
of
they did a great
dedication.
job.
Yeah,
Yes.
a lot of dedication,
I
a
know
lot of
everyone.
editing.
Oh yeah, I'm sure.
um,
Um,
but
I
yeah,
wouldn't want to do that.
no, no, no. But I'm the same way. It's just like coming up like the anxiety, talking about you know our own worst critics and stuff like that, and trying to get into doing stuff. So with you only be doing this like for 3 years or so, do you ever like hesitate or fall into this like I don't know if I can stream today because I don't. I guess what do they call it? The imposter syndrome, or um,
Uh,
it's more like anxiety.
mm,
So it'd be anxiety about going live.
um, I think everybody kind of does that in their own way. And it doesn't necessarily always have to be like imposter syndrome or anything like that. I think I would run into that more of when, you have people come to you directly and they're like, hey, you have made a difference in my life and you're great. And, I've run into that a few times, and it's crazy. You're like, really? Why? So, but yeah, I don't know. I just try to hype myself up before streaming. I'm like, hey, I get to see all these people that I love to hang out with. And it's like, hey, whether it's going to be a crazy long stream day or just like a, hey, we're going to chill and vibe type of thing. I don't know. I don't really get too like nervous. It's just like, I wonder how this is going to go today. Are we going to have trolls? Are we ready to fight the trolls? And then like, uh, it's been a while since I've been like follow botted or like
Mm.
hate rated or anything like that. So I don't really stress about that. And then that's really it. I've made precautionary like scenes and setting changes. So if bad things happen, I don't know. I never really stress about it. Like I'm not like, oh no, this is happening. I have to end stream or anything like that. I'm like, nice try. Like, okay, we're gonna keep playing now, and I just kind of ignore it. So I don't really have those anxieties, I guess. I just
Well,
kind of
that's
like
good.
whatever.
No, I mean that's good. I mean, I think that's what a lot of people need to look at. I know it's hard for a lot of people to do, but
Hmm.
I think when that's one of the things you've got to realize when you get into content creating is you're going to run into that kind of stuff.
Oh
Um,
yeah.
yeah, I mean, any type of social media. I mean, you're gonna run into the critics, you're gonna run into the trolls, you're gonna run into all of that. So, I mean, especially
Hmm.
with you being a woman on on stream and
Oh.
stuff like that.
Hmm.
you get it like 9 times worse than anybody else, you know. And I know like the view bot and the hate bot ratings that was going on Twitch, which I'm glad. I think they finally got that nipped in the butt. But
Yeah. And it's really weird because you see online all the time, like just the super horrific things that women get told or like what they run into on COD and stuff like that. And I'm just like, those like really bad incidents and stuff, that doesn't really happen that often to me. You know, like I turn off prox chat because I'm not trying to stream something that's in a like comes from a bad place or whatever. But I don't know, like the worst that I get is like people come in calling me fat or like, oh, you're a whore or whatever. And I'm just like, but I'm not. Okay.
yeah.
I don't know.
Oh,
So it doesn't, it's not, I don't know. I don't feel like it's as bad as like social media portrays it out to be either at the same time.
no, I can agree. I mean, I think it's hyped up more because, you know, a lot of people on social media, it's all about engagement. So the more
Oh
negative
yeah.
stuff you put out there, the more engagement you're going to get. I mean,
Yeah.
so I mean, I think people have figured that out. It's just like, oh, I'm just going to start shit posting on everything, and then, you know, get my engagement up.
Maybe that's my problem because I don't shit post. maybe that's why I haven't like blown up yet. Uh,
No, I mean,
I
yeah,
don't know.
when I first started on social media, especially with this account, on my Twitter account, my podcast account, because I used to do political podcasts and stuff like that. So I used to get like really heavy into the political side of things. And
Yeah,
yeah, you're talking about some
I
intelligent
can
shit
imagine.
posting. I mean, I used
Hmm.
to get intelligent trolls, I guess you would call.
Down to the nitty gritty of every word that you said.
Yeah, exactly.
You used the wrong context of this word today. I'm sorry, but
Yep.
what do you mean? That's crazy.
It's like, yeah, it is crazy. But yeah, so I mean, okay, so you were on Twitch through the whole hate raid thing and everything else.
Hmm.
I mean, what was the worst thing that ever happened to you on that? Because I think a lot of that was hyped up for the most part too, because I don't think it was as bad as we seen it was.
Yeah, like the worst that happened was this was like before I had security on Discord because I didn't know it was a thing.
Hmm.
You know, because I was new. And, you know, until you experience some things, like you're not gonna know. Um, and I would say that the worst incident that happened as far as the hate rates go was just someone came into Discord with all of their bots and they all jumped into voice chat. They all said, you know, the N word and all kinds of other terrible things over and over and over again. And, you know, once you don't have access to your Discord and then you have no access to sound alerts and then your chat is overran by follow bots, you're just kind of like, oh no, what the hell
Wow.
do I do now? But that was probably the worst thing. Like it wasn't anything too crazy because, you know, at that point, you know, it's more disappointing than it is traumatizing, you know, because you're like, man, I was doing so good on this rate or like on this stream and, you know, I can't rate anyone now because then it'll just follow over and then, you know, nobody wants to sit and watch this person is followed 50 million times and then you know you have no sound alerts and you can't really do anything, so it's just kind of like, well, I guess I gotta end stream now and then start all over again.
Yeah.
So I think that was just the worst of it. It's disappointing and it's like, man, you ruined my day
And I think a lot of
a
them,
little
that's what
bit.
it was they were more disruptive than anything else. I mean, they were just trying to
Yeah.
disrupt, you know, like any other thing you put in there, like a kink in the wheel, you know, just trying to disrupt it. But
Yeah, and you know, it's the worst part about it was always during a charity stream or like a fundraiser stream because, you know, I used to do one all the time. Like I was always raising money for something, and you know, we don't really know how to be like, how could you do that, like when we're trying to raise money for a good cause? You know, it's not like I'm sitting out here like, hey, give me money, you know,
yeah.
like what is their goal for doing that to somebody? Like, hey, my sister's best friend died. We want to raise money for her funeral, and you're coming in here with all this stuff. Like, why? You really have nothing better to do? Like, that's crazy.
I think it is. I think it was just bored people. I really do. I think it was just
Yeah.
bored. They didn't have nothing else to do. They were stuck at home, and that's what they did. They decided to disrupt everybody else's life.
Oh, yeah. And, for a little bit there, around my 1 year anniversary, when I first started to like take off, I went from like 500 followers to like 3,000, I think, like roughly around there.
Oh,
And
wow.
like 5 or 6 months, it was crazy. Like I was streaming all the time, and I wasn't even able to advertise for events that I was doing like on social media. Like I couldn't be like, hey, on this day at this time I'm streaming or whatever, because every single time I did that without fail, I would get follow botted
Oh,
or
wow.
something. It was crazy. It was
Huh.
very unpleasant, super annoying.
Yeah.
but but now that I took over a year off, it's not so bad. I haven't had any issues. I don't think. I think I got follow botted one time with like 100 people, and I was like,
Yeah.
"What?" I've never had that happen. Where it was like just a couple.
Yeah, like I said, I think Twitch finally, with all the implementations they did, and I think with them switching their UI into a different thing, I think that killed a lot of ability to send those big bots through like we were getting.
hmm
Um,
Yeah, they did a good job.
yeah,
I will say I've noticed a difference since I've been back.
yeah. And speaking of platforms, I mean, I know you're dedicated. You're mainly on Twitch, but what do you think of Twitch or Kick since you started over there?
Ooh, this is a fun conversation. So I personally think that Kick has a lot of potential. I think that they there are some things that they can work on, but I do hate that everybody wants to kind of shit on Kick because of certain people that are on the platform. Like that one person doesn't represent, or like this handful of awful people that get blown out of proportion on social media, they don't represent the company as a whole. And like, yes, they should do better at monitoring them, and like if you're going to ban someone, ban them, you know but at the same time, it's like you run into the laws and things like that, and you know they only can do so much. Like there's thousands of people, millions of people, whatever you want to call it, that they're trying to filter through. And you know everywhere's got different laws of what you can say and what you
Oh,
can
yeah.
do, and you can only do so much. But I do think that the Kick community is wonderful. The people that I've come across, I have not met anyone really that was really crappy or terrible to me. Because I went to Loot Fest
Hmm.
not too long ago, and I would say probably 90% to 95% of the people that I met personally were great.
Yeah.
Like I've you don't have too much like drama within the circles, and it's like everybody's just so kind and welcoming, and they want you to succeed just as much as they do. And I think it's great. I don't see any downside to anybody joining Kick, especially like if you take into account all of the platforms and all of the terrible things that people hate Twitch for. Like Kick doesn't have any of that. You don't have ads. You don't give away half of the money that your community is trying to support you with to a company that doesn't really care about you,
Yeah.
So I don't know. I think it has a lot of potential, and I think it's great to be a part of something that's just starting, like
Yeah.
they're not done yet,
Oh, no.
so
Yeah. Version 2 is getting ready to come out here soon. Hopefully that'll correct a lot of like the view botting issues and stuff like that. But because
yeah.
I'm from Mixer, so we had that. We didn't realize that was a problem until after Mixer shut down, and then some of the partners started coming forward, and they're saying that, oh yeah, they would inflate our views to push us up on the front page and everything else, and Mixer would do
hmm
that, and then but yeah, I mean now it's just the fact that they are in their infancy. I was a big critic at the very beginning of Kick, and I told it that if it
Everybody
lasted,
was.
yeah, I told him if it lasted 6 months without getting shut down, that I would give it a chance.
hmm
Um, So, I mean, I have given it a chance. I've been over here, with my streaming side for a while. But no, I agreed. It's not kick a whole as the whole.
Hmm.
Um, and with community, yeah, because I was down at Loot Fest too. I saw you down there. Um, and I don't think I got to meet you, but I did see you after I saw you on Twitter after coming back. It's like, oh yeah, I saw her down there.
Yeah.
But but I'm not in that circle, so it's just like going to one of those events and seeing people I only see on stream or only talk to through social media. It was
Hmm.
I was kind of like hesitant on talking to people and stuff like that because I just don't talk to people unless it's like this.
Yeah. And it's funny you mentioned that because when we went, um, I took my QR code and I put it on my backpack for that reason. Because there's so many people who have like social anxieties, or like if they don't know you, they're not going to come and be like, "Hey, who are you?" you know?
Yeah.
Um, and I think that's pretty normal. So, it would be nice, like, now that we've said, "Hey, how are you?"
Hmm.
Like at the next one, like if you go to DreamHack, like we could say hi, and
Yeah.
then you kind of get your foot in to like meet some of these people because they are really great. Like I've met some that are extremely sweet, like Lindsay Wood. She's
Hmm.
just one of the most amazing people, and Lola Buns was great. And they just come right up to you and they're like, "Hey, how are you?" And they're just so nice. And I was like, not expecting that. So
Yeah, it's kind of the way it
it
was
was.
with BB Jess because that was my whole. It's like when I found out she was going, it's like, oh yeah, so that's one creator that I at least want to meet in person because I interact with her on Twitter, but
Hmm.
um, so it's just
I
like
love
it
BB.
was just like
She's so sweet.
we had a booth there, sitting over there. We were next to Kick, and so it was like she came up there. I think it was Saturday morning. There wasn't a lot of people in there, so she like walked in the door and she came right up to our booth first. It was just like an instinct. I just, like I knew her, just went out and hugged her and said hi. And it's just like I got back and it's like, whoa, what did I do that for? You know, it was just like,
um, Well, she's another wonderful person. She's just so nice, and she's not like, she doesn't give off that vibe like, don't come and talk to
yeah,
me. Um but she comes with her own anxieties too. Like she's just another one of us,
yeah,
and I think that just makes you like all the more awesome to experience, cuz you know as a smaller streamer, up and coming or whatever you want to call it, you look up to these people and you're like, oh, I love their content and they're so cool, and like you meet them and you're like, they're just like me and I love it, you
yeah,
know. So I think it's awesome that you got to meet her. I
yeah.
love her. I've got
It-
some pictures of her.
yeah, I didn't. I went to I watched it. I was in there when she was doing the meet and greet, but it's just like she was really, really busy, and it's like, okay, no, that's good.
Hmm.
I can get. I'll get her. I'm sure I'll get a picture with her some of these days because I'll be in this space for a little while longer, anyways. Um,
Yeah.
but so you agree, like those, if you're an up and coming streamer and stuff like that, if you want going to these events and stuff like that, even if you do have anxiety, with big like me, because I hate big groups, so I'm really glad I
Hmm.
went to Loot Fest first. Um, but it is a good way to network and get your foot in the door with the streaming community because, especially like with all of the after parties and stuff like that.
Yeah, and 100%, because you know one of the things that I realized, like, once I got there, was that I am horrible at recognizing people that I see on a regular. Like, I see pictures of them all day, every day, like all the time, because I'm always on Twitter. Like, I see you, I see all these people, and then in person, I like, my anxiety, I guess, just makes me like, I've talked to you, we've had a conversation before, but now here in person, like, I don't know who you are, like, at all.
Yeah.
But obviously, like, people like BB Jess, or you know Lola Buns, and you know the people that are a little bit bigger, I guess, in my perspective.
Mhm.
Those are easier to recognize, but like even the other people that, you know, we interact with all the time, we're like, hey, I love this person, or I've been in their streams, and you know, my brain sees them and then I'm like, I think I know who this is, but I don't know.
Yeah.
And then once you meet them, you're like, oh my gosh, I follow you all the time. Like a lot of people that I ran into, they would tell me, oh my God, I follow you already. And I'm like, I'm not surprised. But I feel like I look just like this there too. So it's kind of like, I don't know, it's a weird thing that our brains do. Like you saw me
Yeah.
there, but you probably didn't realize it was me, even
Mm.
though I don't know. I feel like I kind of look the same. I don't know. But
Well, and it's one of those things. It's like because I don't because there's so many different because there is so many streamers and so many
mhm.
content creators. You know, I mean, there's a lot of them. I would say probably like only maybe 5% of the people that were at that event I actually knew, you know, interacted with on
Mhm.
stream and stuff like that. I mean, I even walked up to a couple of them that I interacted quite a bit on stream, and she didn't recognize me, you know, to start off with. She goes, I thought I did, but I wasn't sure. You know?
Yeah.
So
And it's a weird, I don't know, can we call it a phenomenon? Like, I don't know. Cuz you think about it and you're like, I literally talk to you all the time, and then once it clicks, like I know who you are. Like you can't unsee it, and then that connection's just like, oh wow. Like
yeah.
I don't know. I don't really know what happens. I'm gonna look into that because it's so weird.
Yeah.
It's weird to like experience too, like face to face.
Yeah. Yeah. Because there was somebody that I, Player to Gamer, the one that was doing all the photographs for Loot Fest, or
Oh,
gaming. I always call him gamer.
hmm,
It's Player to Gaming. Um, but he
player
was,
two.
yeah, Player 2. But I did an interview with him on my podcast, you know, and I was sitting there at the booth and he walked up and he was talking to me a little bit and he goes, you look familiar. And it's like, yeah, I interviewed you. He goes, oh yeah, that's right. but
Yeah.
but you know, yeah, it's crazy. I mean, I'm glad I went to Loot Fest. Loot Fest was a good experience for me. Just for the fact because I don't like big crowds. I probably won't be at Midwest Fest or DreamHack, just for the fact because they're huge. Um,
Little overwhelming.
Yeah. Oh yeah, because
Hmm.
when the noise came up around noon, 1 o'clock in there, I had to go out to the lobby. I walked the entire lobby for about 2-3 hours and then talk to people out there.
Yeah.
But but no, I think yeah, I agree. I think it's a good way to, especially if you're up and coming, to go to those events. At least try to
Hmm.
get to the smaller ones. But so one of the other
Yeah.
things you do with I've noticed I've watched, you know, I've lurked through some of your streams here on Twitch and stuff like that. You do podcasts as well.
I do. I'm actually doing one when we end here in about an hour.
Okay. What is it all about?
So I have teamed up with one of my best friends, Kira Lovey. It's Kira_Lovey on Kick, Twitch, all of that. And we started oh my God, Cine Sisters. And it started kind of like just true crime, just because,
Ooh.
you know, we love stuff like that. And what we built it around is, you know, every season one of us is going to host. Like we take turns alternating back and forth of whatever case we found or interesting stories, and so far we've done some really fun ones. And then tonight we're going to try something a little bit different. We're going to talk about alien conspiracy theories.
Oh.
And yes, and we're going to bring our chats into it too, so that way every so often we're going to kind of break it up, because during podcasts, you know, not responding to chats are really hard. So we're going to kind of bring the audience into it with us so that we can kind of do something a little bit different and diversify what podcasts can be, just to kind of test the waters and see if we can make it something great.
Oh no, that's awesome. I'll definitely be there for after that. As soon as we're off of here, I'll make sure I log in because I love alien conspiracy theories and I love true
Yes, it'll
crime
be
too.
fun. It'll be fun. We you know, when we get into it, we like on this last episode that we did, we got down into like court documents and everything. So it's pretty cool.
Oh
I
wow.
think you'll have fun.
Yeah. Yeah, like I said, I caught just a little bit of it in between, just, you know, I don't know if it was the last one or the one before, but I know it was really, really interesting because I do like true crime and I like finding out the nitty gritty stuff on people and why
Hmm.
people, because my background's in psychology, so I always got to think how people think. Why do
Oh
they do
yeah.
that?
And the best part about true crime is like, no matter how many times you hear this story or like what has happened, there's always new information. And then there's always a different take on it. So it's like you're hearing it again for the first time, and it happens every time. And it's lovely. I love it.
Have you been following that one that's been on Twitter? Was it Riley Haynes, the kid that he's from Missouri State, and he went to Nashville here last week, and he got booted out of the bar for being too drunk or something like that, and took off walking, and now
Oh
he's
no.
disappeared.
Oh no, I haven't heard about that one.
Yeah, they're
I'll have to
still
look into that.
they're still looking for him, but yeah, it's getting kind of interesting.
Oh wow. I know that there is a case that's uh, in the middle of like court proceedings and stuff that Kira's following. So once all of that is done, I know we're going to do an episode on that too. So we do a little bit of like old stuff mixed with like current events, but the ones that are current we try to not touch on until they're done
Yeah.
so that we can be like all of this happened. So
Kara, I don't know if maybe they have. I know they were getting close. I know like the last time I heard, they found his credit card and a bunch of other stuff, and they pinged his phone next to like a homeless community.
oh no.
But yeah,
Yeah.
I haven't seen much. I haven't been on too much on Twitter today.
I'll have to look into that cuz now I'm curious. I want to know
Yeah.
what happened.
Yeah. I know there was one, talking about that because I can't remember who it was, but I was reading something about on social media that she was like taking all these events of these guys that disappeared after going from the bar, they'd always go out drunk, and they'd always end up being found in like the rivers or anything like that. And she was always
Oh
trying to
no.
figure out why. And it's like the only thing they could come up with is just like, the water and everything else. You're drunk. That's where you go to, you know, urinate into the water, when you have to when you're drinking. So they think they
Yeah.
just fell in. So yeah, it'd be
I
kind
don't
of
know.
that's a
It'd
smiley
be
face murders.
crazy. Yeah, and it'd be crazy because you never know with stuff like that because you don't hear about modern day serial killers anymore. They don't hype all that up, and so they're not going to tell you if everything's like linked together.
I know.
And it's crazy. It's really cool to watch.
So out of your true crime, what is your favorite historical true crime?
Ooh, let's see. Of all time or
Hmm.
like,
Of all
mm,
time.
hmm. I really like, so I dove into like a deep hole with the Murdaugh murders
Ooh,
once that came out on Netflix. So I think that one might be one of my new like slight obsessions. But before that, it would be things kind of like Eileen Wuornos. Her story was very captivating in my opinion, but it's not the same thing as like, oh, hey, you've got this family who has been murdering people. uh, so I don't know. I like the Murdaugh murders. I think that's what I would say is probably like my newest like case that I've been hooked on.
hooked on. What about some historical ones? Like Jack the Ripper or things like that, or
Oh, let's see. Jack the Ripper's a good one. I feel like it's just one that I hear all too often. But what is dang, John Wayne Gacy, I think
ooh,
would be one of my top favorites to hear about. I think no matter where I've heard about that one or who says it or like what angle they come from, it's always really crazy. I
yeah,
don't know. That one's probably my favorite.
yeah, Gacy or Casey or yeah, that was creepy.
A little bit, yeah. Like your real life nightmare has come true.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Have you ever heard of the Black Dahlia?
Yes.
Now
Hmm.
that one
Uh,
there, it got me. That's what got me hooked into true crime. I
oh,
mean,
really?
between that and the um, Zodiac killer,
Oh, that one's good too.
because
Hmm.
it's crazy. And actually, even like the current, I mean, not really current, but I used to work in dispatch and for 911 back when right after the BTK killer was caught.
Oh yeah, wasn't he like a copycat?
No, the BTK, he was the bind, torture, kill. He lived in
Oh,
Wichita,
okay.
Kansas, like 3 hours where I used to live.
Oh, so close to home.
Yeah. So it was just like,
Ah,
but I talked to his daughter on social media, um, trying because right now they're reopening a lot of his cases because there's a lot of they found a journal, and
oh wow.
after she found out and stuff like that about him, the all the journal entries that he put, there's like over 120 journal entries, and they've
Could you
only
imagine?
and supposedly they all documented all of his activity. So, but they've only found like I think like 17 cases that they could pin on him. So there's like all these other plethoras of cases that they're trying to figure out if they can pin on him.
That's crazy.
He named himself, yeah. Well, it's just like the
Wow.
Zodiac killer, you know. Well, I guess not. I guess
Yeah.
yeah, the Zodiac named himself as well. But that's one of those things. I put all that stuff together. It's just like okay, because the Zodiac killer was in between the Black Dahlia case and the BTK case, but the Zodiac and the BTK had the same style, I guess you could say.
Hmm. Yeah.
So it,
Like,
I mean, it just, I mean, it's like the BTK would have been like an evolved of the Zodiac, but the Zodiac was a young when he was supposedly doing that. So it kind of fits the timeline of the BTK. They actually try to trace back to see if he was the Zodiac.
yeah, there's been like so many dang, I can't remember which one it was, but they didn't know who it was, and then someone came forward talking about how it was his dad,
Mm.
and he had photos of his dad and would line it up to all of the hand sketches, like man, who was it? But they can't prove it because he's dead. But man, oh, I'll have to find out, and I'll probably message you. I'll be like,
Yeah.
check this out, because it's crazy. Because the son came forward, like I remember that happening, and I was like, there's no way. Um, and ooh, maybe there's an update. Maybe I'll find out if it ended up being whoever. I can't remember.
Yeah.
My memory sucks, but
No, mine too. Now the
but
son of, yeah, Kara, the son of Sam, I think he just used that as an excuse to get off for what he did.
maybe I
But
don't know. And because I remember, because he was obviously old when he died, and then the son, like I think he told everyone or something on his deathbed, whatever. Um man, I really wish I remember who it was, because it was like it was a big name. I'm gonna Google it.
I was gonna say it'll probably
Now I
come
need
to you like right. It's like, oh yeah,
it. Let's see. I'm gonna just say son brings forward identity of as a known serial killer. Let's see if it pops up, because I remember that. Oh, the Zodiac killer. Was
was
that
it
that
this?
one?
Oh yeah, because they just
I think
reopened.
so.
Yeah, because they just did a new documentary here a few years ago on that. I think that's who that was.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then, yep, this was it, because there's the glasses. And then, so he brings forth the picture of his father. And then, yeah, I remember that. So I don't know. I never like followed up after that, because I remember when his son came forward and was like, this was my dad. And I'm like, I don't know. Because, he was just infamous. Like everybody knows who it is. So it'd be crazy.
Yeah. Well, talking about the reason why they don't, you don't hear too many serial killers anymore. I mean, I think because technology has just gotten way over too. It was
Hmm.
either technology has gotten way too advanced for them to do anything, or they're just realizing that the more they talk about them, the more they make them famous. So it's just
Hmm.
like they don't want to put no more. Yeah, because I know they're still out there because you hear it every once in a while in the news. That, like
Yeah.
Caro said, there every once in a while something will pop up with
Yeah.
those
And
into
it's
truth.
really weird because, statistically, the chances of the person that you're walking next to down the road is a serial killer, like they exist and they're out there, but you never hear, hey, we've got a serial killer in this area, like watch out. You never hear that. They don't warn you, and they're just like, oh, we've got another victim. You know,
Yeah.
it's crazy.
No, I
I don't
agree,
know.
Kara. Yeah, if you don't publicize it, yeah, you are putting the rest of the public at, because that's,
Hmm.
that's the reason why they started publicizing all of them, like the Son of Sam and everything else, is that way to keep people away from certain areas that he was hitting.
Hmm. And that's good, but I feel like people should still get a heads up.
Oh yeah, no, I agree. But no, so let's talk a little bit about your name, because like I said, your name is really really unique,
Hmm.
and like you said, I read a little bit of your bio in your website about how you came about it, why you wanted something like that, but why did you choose that one?
So, uh, hmm, growing up, I always kind of felt different than everybody else. Like I never fit into any specific clique or whatever, and I kind of hung out with everybody, like your emo kids, your goth kids, your preppy kids, your ghetto ratchet kids, those weird quiet nerdy kids, the band kids, sports kids, like, and I never really like fit in anywhere. Like I kind of have the interests of just about everything. um so I just kind of embraced that. Like I'm a little weird, and uh, unique is a better word for weird. And several years before I even started streaming, Forever Esoteric was just what I would use like on my emails and just random stuff to like have as my name on things. And uh, when it came time to stream, I was just kind of like, this is just going to be a hobby, whatever. And I was like, I'll just use Forever Esoteric. It's not something that's been taken. Nobody else does that. And then,
Yeah.
you know, a lot of my friends that I stream with, they're like, hey, it's Forever. Forever's online. Or, hey, so that's just kind of who I am. And I like what it stands for. And I think that, staying that way forever would be great because, you're, I don't plan on changing. I don't want to become somebody else,
Yeah.
through all of this. So I'm forever going to be who I am. And, even through streaming, I think it kind of represents everything pretty well for myself.
Well, that's good. Yeah, like I said, I mean, yeah, because names, people, I get irritated with some people. Not really irritated, but it's just like, because they'll take like, because my very first name was like an Xbox name, is what I when I first
Hmm.
started like 7.5 years ago. It's like, so that's what I started streaming on, and so it's progressed into into certain things, and then Rebel just kind of stuck with me. Now I'm kind of like making it a little bit more professional, instead of using my
Hmm.
gamer tags through things, because I used to use my gamer tags for everything. But now that I'm getting older and wiser in the field and stuff like that, it's just like I want to get more of a professional feel. So that's the reason why I changed my name just to Rebel in my last name. So I mean, if people want to try to find me, they can find me. They're not going to find out much. um,
Yeah.
but
Yeah. And, finding a name is hard. It is. But rebranding is also hard. So
yeah,
it's kind of like, is this something that's professional enough to represent you, in the end? And I've always been kind of like a long-term visual person.
mhm.
So in my head, I'm like, that couldn't really be seen as something bad or, immature or anything like that. So I think that played a big part in it too, you
well,
know.
well, it's catchy. Like I said, I mean, the name, once when you popped up on my Twitter feed, is what happened that night. Went for through Loot Fest, I guess, because of all the Loot Fest postings. But it's just like, that name just popped out of, all the other ones that I've been. It's just like, oh, this is interesting. So, I mean, I really got to, look through some of your stuff and get to know you, watch some of your streams and everything else, before, so when I asked you if you wanted to come on the show, because I find you really, really interesting for the fact of
Thank you.
what you post online and everything else. And I'm that way. I'm just nosy. I want to get to know people. Um,
That's fair. You're human. It's fine.
But there's also too, you have a lot of tattoos and stuff like that. I mean, it's not a lot, but you've got quite a few tattoos.
I do.
What what is your favorite one that you have?
It depends on what part of my personality you're asking.
Oh,
Because like I have, I've gotten them all for different reasons, different times in my life and things like that. But I'd probably say my gargoyle is my favorite
ooh,
because I don't really have any like hesitation with, oh, I love this tattoo, because everybody's got like those little bits and pieces of tattoos and they're like, I don't really like this part, but whatever. But yeah, my gargoyle, this one, I'll show you. This is probably my favorite. This one.
oh, that is detailed.
He's really good, yeah.
How long did
And
that take?
let's see. I had an 8-hour session and a 5-hour session, so 13 hours.
Wow,
13, 14.
8 hours.
Yeah.
Holy cow.
Yeah.
So I mean, why the gargoyle?
So ever since I was little, one of my really good friends at the time, her mom was really into like the dark aesthetic things. And she just said something that stuck with me about gargoyles protect things from evil.
Mhm.
And I thought that that was really cool. I'm not religious by any means, but I do think that evil's out there or whatever, so having something related to that just to kind of keep shitty people away from me,
Yeah.
that was kind of the way my brain thought at the time. And then, I found an artist that I really liked. He was good at drawing, painting, and tattooing. So, I waited to get the gargoyle, and then he was like, oh my god, it's crazy that you say that. And he found an image that he really liked, and he was like, I kind of want to make this my own. Can I do this, and can we go this route? And I was like, absolutely, hell yeah.
Oh,
And I
cool.
loved it. So it just kind of worked out that his vision along with mine kind of meshed, and it was exactly what I wanted.
Now, 13. How do you sit through a session for 8 hours? I mean, they're not
um
constantly doing something for 8 hours, are they?
Yeah,
Really?
yeah,
Oh, wow.
100%. Yeah,
Jeez.
it was a very long 8 hours, but I don't know, like this one of these I sat for like 10, and it wasn't. This was worse than this one. Like he wasn't heavy-handed, and he just did beautiful work. And I don't know, I just kind of was on Facebook and Instagram, and I just, I don't know. It wasn't too terrible.
Really?
Yeah,
Mm,
I don't
I,
know.
I don't know. It's one of those things. It's like, because I'm one of those that gets really, really bored really, really quick if something doesn't, if I'm not doing something active. So it's like,
Yeah.
I couldn't imagine sitting there for that long for doing a tattoo. So,
I just, I went by myself because I got this one kind of around the time that COVID was going on. Like
Mm.
I remember right at the end, like I had him like just cover this up because I had like a moon and like the line, one of those like random. You might be able to still see it because I just had him fill it in, so I can cover it up later. um, but you know, whenever we got to like over here on the buildings, because I remember he was doing the windows to my building, and we all got the mass message from the government, hey, there's a midnight curfew. You need to be home, or like you could go to jail. Like
Oh,
you need to
wow.
go home. So I just had him fill this in real quick, and I left and went home because it was like late. It was late as fuck, and I had gotten there at like 2 in the afternoon, maybe. So we were there all night until like 11 almost.
Oh, geez.
Yeah, because I was like, I drove quite a ways to get there because, I'm not where I'm from, there aren't very many like super talented people. So
No, I got you.
yeah. But
Watch 10
yeah,
hours of Netflix during a tattoo. I could see doing that, keeping myself occupied maybe if I was, as long as my
yeah.
phone battery
And
stayed on.
yeah, I mean, when you're getting tattooed, they know how to keep you entertained, like there's music, and then they're going to have a charger for you. They're like, hey, we've got water. Like, there's restaurants nearby. Like, there's really unlimited options for things to do. Like, obviously, like social media. And then I had lots of friends at the time, so I could, talk to whoever for a little bit or call someone else. And I've got a ton of brothers and a sister, so I was always doing something. I kept busy.
Are you from a big family?
Yes. I've got like 9 brothers. Let's see. Yeah, I think I have 9 brothers.
Oh, wow.
The youngest one, obviously, a lot of them are steps, but the youngest one is the same age as my youngest son.
Oh, really?
So they get along. Yeah.
That's cool.
Crazy.
Yeah. No, I just asked because I'm from a big family too. I have 4 brothers and 3 sisters, or three brothers and 4 sisters. So.
Oh, wow. Yeah. I only got the one sister, so we didn't get lucky enough to have more girls. So
yeah, I was the baby of the family. There's like 26 years difference between me and my oldest brother. So.
Oh, wow. How was that?
And I was basically an only child growing up because they were already moved out and everything else by the, for the most part when I was growing up. The only time I saw them was during holidays. So it's like when people ask me, it's like, how many brothers and sisters I have? It's like, well, I have, 3 sisters and 4 brothers, but I'm an only child.
Aww.
And they're always looking at me like, what?
You didn't get that the bullying and the fighting and having to share.
No, it was all mine, all for me.
Well, that's cool.
I think it's the reason why that my brothers and sisters always called me spoiled. It's like, I don't know how I was spoiled. I didn't get a lot when I was a kid. So
yeah,
now,
I mean,
now growing up, I realized what they were talking about.
Yeah.
So what plans do you have? What are your goals for the next couple of years? How far out do you plan things?
Pretty far. I feel like as far as anybody else. But, I have goals for everything, like for my kids, for my husband, and, for streaming. I'm working on partnering with a friend of mine on some other business for different pharmaceutical type things. But, when it comes to streaming and things like that, I have the same goals as just about everybody else. Like, it's not anything too crazy. Like, I want to have a brand. I want to make a community, and I want to give back positively. Like, I want to get charities. I want to make money for things. I want to change the world the best that I can, whether that's just by being there for the people in my community, like having a safe space, because, it really is hard to find people who are genuinely positive,
Yeah.
And, everybody focuses on mental health so much these days. And there's lots of times where, like, you don't have people who are mentally able to even uphold the capacity that you need to stay positive. And that's probably like my biggest goal, is to just be there for these people that I've grown a relationship for, or like the people who really don't know what it's like to have a genuine friend or somebody who like legitimately gives a shit, so that's a big thing for what I would like to do. I try to get to know everybody that I come into contact with. Like, we have normal conversations, we'll play, and I don't know, I want to have that community. I want to build those relationships, like not just for me, but people within my community. Like, I want them to get to know each other and have somebody else there for them when I can't be. And, everybody's always positive. We don't have people who like are ugly to each other. And I just want to capitalize on that. And I want the goal that I have, like, would be really cool, is to just have the Forever Squad. Like, say you were to be a part of my community now, like, and you're like, hey, I do want to go to this dream hack thing. I want somebody to recognize and be like, hey, that's another Forever Squad person and just go and say hi. And like, you have this thing, like, you don't have to question like whether they're good people or, you know, whether it's safe enough for you to walk up to them and say hi, you know? I think that
Cool.
that would be really cool
Yeah, no, that is cool.
to have. So,
Yeah, because that's the first time I've ever heard that through everybody that I've talked to and stuff like that. That is awesome. I mean, I've seen that on your website that you have that. You even have them posted on there. I mean,
yeah.
like I said, websites are important, people. If you don't understand that, they are important.
Mhm.
Um, and there's a lot. I mean, you don't have to pay the $100 or whatever. I mean, most of them
Mm.
you can find
Like
them.
$12 a year,
Yeah, really
something like
cheap.
that. Hmm.
But like I said, it's got all of our information on there. It's got all the stuff. It's got the Forever Squad on there and things like that. So I think that's really, really cool. And
Thank you.
I hope that someday here soon that all comes to play for you to where that'll work for
I appreciate it. I'm actually working on another website. You know, it's not necessarily going to be just mine. It's going to be, you know, my fourth wall. It's going to have merchandise on
you.
there, but it's going to have, you know, different things geared towards, you know, the Forever Squad. And like, it's going to be a play off of, you know, the Queen of Darkness, because that's what my squad always calls me all the time. So it's going to have a play on that, but it's going to really hopefully be another place to kind of show people like, hey, we're a community. Like, it's not just all about me, you know, like my website's more of like my goals and my ambitions and things like that, and people that have made a difference in my life as far as streaming goes. So I really wanted to make something that I'll hopefully be able to release this week. I ended up going way down the rabbit hole, and I have to update my Discord now, so to kind of like fit in with it. But once I do that, you'll see that drop, and hopefully you'll enjoy it. I don't know. We'll see.
No, definitely. Like I said, that sounds like I said, it was really pleasant and an eye opener that to see that on your website. Because like I said, even though some people that even have website, they're just this is me, this is my merch, and that's it. It doesn't really show a lot about them. So that's a really well designed website for describing who you are and where you came from, where you want to go, and stuff like
I
that. So
appreciate it. Yeah, I haven't updated that one since I've come back to streaming, because I've marked my official comeback date as February 5th. Like, that's the day that I decided, hey, I'm coming back full time. And so I'll probably update that soon. So check back in like a week or so.
heck yeah, it definitely will.
Mhm.
And like I said, and I'll leave all the links to all of her stuff like that. And if there's anything else that you want to give me, you can always DM me through Twitter and stuff like that, or actually on Discord now. Any links you want to add to that, I'll put that in the description of the video. That way people can find you.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah.
Once I drop, you know, my fourth wall, I'll give you like a list of kind of what those are.
Mhm.
Because you know, I have my live space link too, because that's more of a live. I don't know if you're familiar with live
Yeah.
space.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're very. It's kind of like Facebook, but for content creators. It's pretty cool.
Yeah.
So I have that too.
Yeah. I'm kind of hoping. I mean, I know they've been around
Hmm.
probably just about as long as Kick has. I didn't realize it until after a
Hmm.
friend of mine turned me on to it, and it's like, oh, this is cool.
Yeah,
But
I have really high hopes for live space. One, I think, and anybody can quote me on this. I think once they get their mobile app done, I think they're probably gonna be like one of the next big platforms.
yeah, yeah, because I mean, they pay just as good as Kick does. I mean, what is it?
Better.
85-15 plus you get 100% if you're boosted.
Hmm.
And
And you know, I don't know who came first. I don't know if Meta took it or if LiveSpace took it. But whoever came up with it first, LiveSpace features the posts that you make. So now, whenever you're sifting through Facebook or Instagram, like, you see your threads on there, like all the posts that you make. But LiveSpace is just like that.
yeah,
So whether you're streaming games or something like that, if that creator plays that game, you're going to see posts from these people. You're going to see their pictures. You're going to see, you know, the funny little posts that they make. And, you know, I think that it's a wonderful way to get exposure even when you're not live. You don't have to be live to be featured. And I think it's so
Oh, I
sweet.
didn't
I
know
don't know.
that. Oh, that is cool.
Hmm.
Yeah,
It is
because
really cool.
that's what I'm going to start doing with this new podcast season. Is I'm going to start clipping and putting those on the my post feed over there too.
It's very smart. And, I met with Todd, the co-founder, and he's just such a sweet guy. And they genuinely care about their creators. And, we went through a whole conversation of like little improvements and things that, they could do. And literally it's like every week you get an email of some updates that they've done. Like
Yeah,
they're listening to everybody, and it's truly wonderful to see somebody actually listen to us,
yeah,
and I don't think they're in it to make money. They're boosting all these people, and like, I don't know,
yeah,
I think it's gonna go far.
yeah. Because sooner or later I'll be moved. Probably I'll. I mean, I have it already added, but I don't know if my internet can handle more than just a couple at a time. So but no,
Yeah.
that's my whole I have an account over there too for this channel as well. Plus, it's my gaming channel, but I plan on moving probably over to live space as well. But
Yeah, you should check out Restream. It's like $11 a month or something like that, but you can stream to 5 channels, and it shouldn't affect your internet because it's like you're streaming one time.
yeah, that's the way this software runs. I can add multiple, I think up to 7 locations. So
Ooh, 7.
yeah,
Hey, you could do Twitter. You could do Twitter.
it's all plugged in there. My biggest thing is it's like, okay, I'm gonna have a chat for everything, but doing
Oh
podcasts,
yeah.
I usually post something in the chat if it's, you know, if I know it's gonna be a conversation that I want to. I mean, not that I'm not focused on this one, but it's just like I can understand some of these podcasts that I do. It might get some like trolly comments and stuff like that, so I usually put it
Oh
on.
yeah.
Like the one I did the other night, I made sure it was on follow for or emote only channel until after we got done because I knew who I was talking to was very controversial. So
Oh yeah. Those are interesting though,
yeah, but I know you got a podcast to get ready for after this, but is there anything that on closing though? I mean, for people that are starting out, I always ask this for everybody. What is the number one thing that you would tell somebody trying to get into this space that doesn't know where or doesn't know how to do it or is afraid to do it?
Ooh, so I can personally say that I've encouraged lots of people to stream. Let's see, the best advice probably that I would give is to make sure you're doing it because you love it. Make sure that you take the people that have inspired you to do it and talk to them. Like, don't be afraid to say, hey, I'm getting started. Like, is there anything that you would recommend for me or anything like that? Because you're going to want to build relationships with people. I got started and I found Panda Alicia. I follow her to this day, and I just adore that woman to death. Tommy United, his community, the Boom Squad, amazing. Um, you know, find communities that you trust and just sorry, I'm so sorry. I don't know. Whoops. Just find those communities to kind of back you up because they're gonna be your safe space when you're having a hard time because starting is hard. It's not easy to stream to a couple of people here and there, or not have people in your chat. It's very defeating, and that's why, like, I try to tell people, make sure you do it because you love it. And if you ever at any point in time aren't loving it, then take a break,
Yeah,
or ask for advice. In When you ask for advice, constructive criticism is not always the best thing to accept, but you should listen to it. Don't be afraid to be told what you're doing wrong, because it's not like you can't grow. All of us start small. All of us have no idea what the fuck we're doing at some
yep,
point in time, So just take those people that have inspired you and talk to them, and find communities that are going to embrace you and love you for who you are, and just go from there,
Yep.
because it gets better. It really does.
Great word of advice. Great words of advice, especially about the criticism thing, because I know a lot of people cannot take constructive criticism.
Yes.
Been through that quite a bit.
I know lots of adults who have a hard time taking that constructive criticism themselves. So, and anybody out there, if you want opinions, don't be afraid to come and ask me. I don't mind. Yeah. I'll tell you what I see. I'll tell you what I think you should work on, and I'll do my best to tell you in a way that won't really hurt your feelings. I'm kind of good at that sometimes. We'll see.
But all right, well, I'm gonna let you get out of here. So I see your dog in the background is trying to get your attention. I'm surprised mine aren't barking. I know they're laying down behind me right now. I guess you heard them a couple times, but but no, I really appreciate you taking the time out of your day to do this. And happy St. Patty's Day. I forgot about that.
Happy St. Patty's Day. Yeah, I was like, you're not wearing green, man.
I was earlier, but
you missed it. I got my alien shirt on for the podcast.
Yeah, and make sure if you guys are listening, if you guys are in the chat, Gun, my Gun is huge, the one that followed you. He's a friend of mine.
Hi.
But yeah, make sure you go check her stream out on Twitch and Kick. Or I suppose you're gonna be on Kick as well.
I'll be on everything.
Okay, she'll be on everything. They're gonna be talking about aliens. This has got an awesome podcast. She does a lot of true crime and stuff like that. So tonight's aliens. So it's gonna be interesting.
It'll be fun.
Well, I hope to be able to talk to you again sometime later on and see how you progress and everything else. Always like checking back in on people.
Anytime.
It was a pleasure, and I'm really glad I got to meet you. And hopefully the next time we go to an event, we can shake hands and sit there and say, hey, I know you.
Yes, I will. I'll try really hard to recognize you in person. But if not, just I feel like I look the same. I'll have my QR code on again. So you'll be like, that's her. I'm gonna go say hi. And I'll be like, hey, we'll get a selfie.
There you go. All right. Well, we're gonna get out of here so she can go get ready for that and have a good podcast. Like I said, I'll be in your stream. I'll be lurking and hanging out, and maybe I'll get involved because I love aliens.
Awesome. Thanks for having me.
No problem.
I appreciate it. I'm honored.
All right. We'll talk to you later. Make sure you guys go follow her. All the information where she's going to give me some information. It'll be in the descriptions of the videos and everything else when I get them up and going. But have a good rest of your night.
You too.
We'll talk to you guys later. All right, ladies and gentlemen, thank you for listening and watching. And if you guys want to catch a live show, you can catch us over on kick.com/They Hang Out Live. Also, all the videos will be up on our YouTube channels. All the links and stuff will be in the descriptions. Make sure you guys check out everybody we talk to. Like I said, we're all over the place. So until next time, have a good one.
We're on the side of the honest truth, exploring perspectives. Time to take off the blinders.